Hey everyone, hope you guys are enjoying Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak and whichever platform you're choosing to play it on. And today we're going to be going over the fact that Capcom went ahead and basically confirmed that there is a major glitch going on with the game right now, a major bug that essentially is causing monsters to aggro onto players basically for no good reason, and it's something that they're finally choosing to acknowledge, and basically they're going to be addressing in the near future. Now, originally this was posted pretty much right after the patch notes went live. I believe yesterday's video, depending on the order that I post these videos, yesterday I was speaking about the patch notes and pretty much the hotfix that they went ahead and dropped. And the reason why they chose to drop the hotfix, I'm going to be leaving a link in the description below. If you guys didn't necessarily check out that video, it's interesting what they're choosing to do with the game right now as they are preparing for the bonus/6 free title update. But essentially their post simply read that heads up, known Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak issue. The team has identified a bug related to aggro and multiplayer quests on all platforms and plans to address this in the next update. Thanks for your patience. So this is not just going to be something that they're going to be addressing for PlayStation or Xbox or Nintendo Switch or Steam players. This is everyone. Essentially, this has been a Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak problem probably since the game launched, since the expansion went ahead and went live. They went ahead and attached a little bit of an extra image to kind of provide more clarification that simply says, notice an apology regarding a bug and frequency of drawing monsters' attention. For whatever reason, if you don't know, aggro is exactly just that. Whenever the monster chooses to turn its head and come at you directly, that's what aggro is. Now, aggro typically works in like MMORPGs or RPGs. They're gonna go after the tank. Aggro usually means whoever has the best defense, and in one of those MMORPGs or RPGs, the tank usually with a shield and heavy armor, a lot of resistances, you're gonna get the monster's attention while everyone else wails at it. But of course, in Monster Hunter, there's no such thing. Even, lance or gun lance users or even sword and shields, they're not necessarily gaining more aggro. That's not really how it works. They could set themselves up with their skills to do that for a little bit, but chances are monsters are just really never gonna aggro specifically just one person because there's no dedicated healers or anything along those lines. That's just not how the game works. However, one of the things that players can do to gain a lot of aggro relatively quickly is crit often and hard. Players like me who use like a crit build Pierce setup, you're gonna notice that my gameplay, if you have seen some of my clips, are constantly going after crit damage, so essentially orange damage. If you're doing both mounting, which is blue damage, and crit damage at the same time, a lot of like heavy bowgun users use that if they're using that little like gateway kind of skill to be able to do a lot of mounting damage. Instant glaive users as well, but they don't necessarily hit hard enough or crit often enough to be able to get a lot of attention. You're going to notice those players also get plenty of aggro in their very own way. So this has been, a thing that you can kind of bypass it for most other weapons, but at the end of the day, aggro is something that, the monster's usually rotating, so it's not really a big issue. However, we're being now confirmed that they've identified an issue in Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak version 15.0 for the Nintendo Switch, Steam, and version 13.00 on Xbox, Windows, and PlayStation, where the frequency of drawing a monster's attention, or aggro, is biased towards players who's based on the order in which they join the multiplayer quest. They plan to address this issue in the next update. They apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. So essentially what they're saying here is that you're gaining aggro as the quest hunter, basically the one who started the quest, and anyone who's choosing to join the quest second and third. Essentially, if you're the last person who joined the quest towards the very end, chances are you're not going to get as much aggro, although of course that doesn't mean you're excluded from getting aggro or getting attacked by a monster. It just essentially means that they're going to probably choose to attack you a little bit less. Now, one of the things that they're not very clear on here is what the percentages of the aggro is. If it's a 10%, a 15%, a 20% boost to aggro gains. At the end of the day, everything is percentage based. So, again, if you're getting a lot of crits, are you gaining 1.2, 1.3, 1.5, 2.0 boosted aggro based on each crit that you're getting? It really depends, but they don't necessarily get into the nitty gritty of that. And it kind of showcases that, you know, there are plenty of players who have been complaining about aggro for quite a long time now. And it seems like they are finally realizing that this bug had been available into the game. Now, they specifically mentioned that it went live on 15.0 for Switch and Steam, 13.0 for PlayStation, Xbox, and Windows, but players have complained about aggro for longer and much longer than that. Even this goes back into like base Rise, especially with like the Narwa and Old Mother Narwa quest. Players were complaining that she was specifically turning to them when they were just drinking a potion for whatever reason. So this has been an ongoing issue that they finally seem to choose to acknowledge to address, and specifically they're now stating that they're going to be addressing it during the next patch. Now, of course, like I mentioned at the top of the video, they posted this after they just dropped a hotfix patch on Nintendo Switch and Steam players. So for whatever reason, they didn't choose to address that in that patch for whatever reason, where there were a couple of really interesting bugs that I spoke about. I'm going to be leaving a link in the description below for you guys to check out those patch notes if you haven't necessarily done so already for the latest patch, which just came live a few days ago. But more interestingly, this one, they knew about it and they just left it alone. Maybe something that they can't or aren't willing to address just yet, and maybe they want to patch out completely. We don't necessarily know. I would love to know if it's a percentage based type of aggro game that you're getting, and why did it originally end up happening based on who's hosting a quest and who's joining into the quest as soon as possible. That is just such a bizarre thing for a aggro percentage gain, and presumably that would be is what's going on, that it would be based on who the hell decides to join first. It's almost like if it's telling you, you know, whenever someone joins a quest, pretty much essentially the quest giver, for example, the quest hunter, the one that starts the quest originally and invites the players, you know, for anyone to go ahead and join into the quest, the game is already choosing to go after that hunter for whatever reason right out of the gate, even though you know that if you, like, you know, pass by monsters or whatever the case may be, they may not necessarily even target you. But essentially when they do, this bug goes ahead and triggers, and it could potentially harm you a little bit more than others. And of course, at the end of the day, getting more aggro simply just means you have to avoid more, you have to drink more potions, because chances are you're not going to do a perfect run. You're going to get hit once in a while, and it just means that you need to be on your toes a little bit more than other players. But that's about all the information that I have for you guys today. Hopefully in the next patch notes we'll be able to see just how well they address this specific bug. If you're brand new to my channel, though, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications whenever videos go up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.